Hey man, what's happening? Hey, I decided to get on here and throw a video at y'all real fast. Anymore, man, I'm just on impulse with it. You know what I mean? When the idea hits me, or whatever the case, I hop on here. Like now, I done just worked, full day. Um, Came in, did my little domestic stuff. Cleaned the dishes, etc. And the only thing left I have to do is shower and hop on in that bed. um, anyway, man, I decided to get on here and give you guys a little video. Um, and it's let me just go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and get the disclaimer out the way. All right, so my content's for educational purposes only. Can't stress enough for you guys to do your own research. Praise my content. Inform me of any errors you find in the comments. None of us have been alive long enough to know all that transpired in the past, and none of us can live long enough to know all there is to learn. I sit back, man, and I observe, I analyze, I look at things from a few different perspectives, but I generally go beneath surface, in my analyzations and observations, because what I've come to learn is the things that you see are generally the end result. You know, odds are 9 times out of 10 when a situation occurs or when an individual acts outside of their normal character, it's usually as a result of um, negligence or, an uneducated or untrained eye. And I mean that in the sense that, a person's not able to see or foresee, excuse me, a situation brewing, you know, or it may be an individual that's involved in a situation, or maybe the one that acts out of his or her normal character. It's usually an oversight based on, you know, a lot of the teachings that we get growing up in this society that we live in, we're born into. So this video, man, is gonna be, just a brief overview of, you know, some of the things that I did, to initiate the changes that those that have known me for some years see today, and those who haven't known me for years but have just recently met my acquaintance, and they may see the unique way in which I operate and move about. um, the first thing I want to touch on, man, is the chakra system. Never mind the 100 or so that are throughout the body. We just, I'm talking about the seven major chakras: the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, and the crown. That is one of the first things that I came across on my journey. The reason why that's so important is because the chakras relate directly to your emotional state, the way you view and deal with yourself, and the extenuating results are relative to one's physiology. You know, actually, there's a video. I encourage you guys that aren't, aware or privy to what the chakra system actually is on an elementary level and fundamental level. I'm going to recommend a video. It's called The Seven Chakras, Meanings and Functions. It's about 11 minutes and 20 seconds. However, again, one thing I noticed when I first came across the video and the knowledge of the chakras, how they operate, how they are relative to your emotional state, the perception of self, and the physiology. It's something that mainstream society has just begun, well, I never really, I'm gonna relay it like this. Like, I only been in contact with this information, I would say about 2 years. I've expounded on it since. However, the video that I just recommended to you guys, I watched it over. I watched it a good 5 times. Didn't take me 5 times to pick up on what it was putting down, but I watched it to really get a gauge on measuring myself, my behaviors, and the patterns that I had at the time against what it stated or some of the things that will cause blockages in your chakras. And that is the main reason why I recommend that video for those of you that aren't, or that haven't been exposed to the chakras. It's actually life-changing information, and I say that without embellishment. It's definitely life-changing because it gives you the ability to put a figurative yet realistic mirror up to yourself. And it also gives you the ability to step outside of yourself and look at yourself and analyze yourself in a way whereas though you can painlessly, initially anyway, depending on how far gone you may be, and if you watch the video, you'll understand what I mean when I say that. Depending on how far gone any of us are or may be as an individual, the harder the process, may be as it relates to returning to one's innate, authentic core self after you peel back the layers of the onion, Before moving on, the reason why the chakras are so important and the reason why I'm putting so much emphasis on the chakras is because a lot of us, have signs and symbols right in front of us every day, but we don't know how to identify some of those signs and symbols or how to attach a name or an understanding to those signs and symbols and, etc. Some people, and again, I'm going to talk about me. These are some of the places that I've been, and some of the issues I had to correct within myself. I've had sexual addictions. I've had a sexual addiction, should be the best way to describe that. It was, in the past, I've had drug addictions. In the past, I've had an issue with alcoholism. In the past, I've had issues with self-esteem. In the past, I've had issues with taking up for myself and speaking for myself and defending myself, verbally, we're talking, as it relates to, processing, internalizing, and, balancing out emotions, And all of these issues, if any of you guys have had or still have, the beautiful thing about this is the fact that nobody has to know. This ain't like somebody will be able to publicize your particular issues or your struggles. That's why I'm doing the video. So it can, because it's all personal. This, the unbalance, the unblocking and balancing of one's chakra system is a personal situation. It's a personal journey. Doesn't have to be, but in a lot of cases, it's necessary, And again, this won't be for everybody because everybody's not ready for change, And this video is mainly for those that see flaws within themselves, see errors in their actions, and or may be tired of beating their head up against a wall, starting to realize it hurt, And that's basically indicative of repeating cycles, going through the same things, and without changing the behavior. In order to recognize that there's change needed, you have to have extracted a lesson from experiences that you encounter and go through. So if any of you guys have experienced any of the symptoms that I just spoke about regarding myself, then especially if you're still dealing with them, and only you know that. See, the process that I'm speaking to you guys about tonight is personal, mainly because you got to be real with you. See, because everything starts with you. Because if you're not real with yourself, who can you really be real with? You know, if you're not being a complete 100% with yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, the flaws, everything, somebody else ain't got a shot. You know, it's always going to be on a percentile basis of how real you're keeping it with them as opposed to being completely real. Because before you can do that, you have to do it with self. You have to have, gotten to the level of maturity and emotional intelligence whereby you can be completely open, honest, and real with yourself first. A lot of people I see, they don't really like to be checked or told about their shit. A lot of friendships will end. A lot of friendships have ended because you had the heart or you had enough love for yourself first and that other person to call them on their bullshit. And their level of maturity plays a part in how they received that check. This is just an example of what I'm saying about how I think about things and view things and analyze things, because critical thinking is an absolute must nowadays. If you're not able to view things with a critical eye, to analyze things with a critical mind, you're limited in your ability to initiate the changes that may be necessary in order for you to operate at peak potential as your own individual. I've also, all the reasons that I could come up with in staying on cue with the subject matter of this video relates and reverts back to me recommending the video that I recommended. Again, if you're just coming on or you're just, catching this video at this point, for whatever reason, the video that I'm recommending you guys, on your downtime, trust me, I'm not going to waste your time. It's well worth the 11 minutes and 24 seconds that the video lasts, and again, for those of us that recognize, that it's a need for change, it's going to allow you to really gauge where you're at in your self-development, because a lot of us, our ego dominates, our masculine energy dominates our feminine energy, and ego's not all bad, however, there are different levels to the ego, and the only one predominantly that we or fixated and operate from is, I'm the shit. Who you? Yeah, that part. You know, and I'm not in a position to say it's right or wrong. You be the judge of yourself, the same way you judge others. Especially if you haven't gotten to the point where as though you live and let live. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure. If a person's not willing to listen or take advice or suggestions, guess who's the best teacher? Life. It's no need to catch an argument, get in an argument or catch, an attitude because somebody's not willing to take the advice in good faith that you're trying to extend, because life is the best teacher, man. Before you knew that stove was hot, you was willing to touch it till it burnt the dog shit out your hand. And you said, oh shit. Hot. Hot. I ain't fucking with that stove. You dig? I know to stay away from that because I burnt the shit out my hand. You feel me? Sometimes the shit gotta be smeared on a motherfucker's nose before they believe that it actually stinks. So it is what it is. But that I felt that the recommendation for that video, the 7 chakras, meanings and functions, was important. And just so you guys know you got the right video, again, it's only 11 minutes and 20 some odd seconds. It has an outline of an individual sitting in the lotus position with the 7 chakras down the center. Anybody that actually takes the recommendation and watches that video, you'll understand why I recommended it. And it just may open your eyes to a whole, different way of looking at life in existence. Because it's for those that are ready, it's actually kind of deep. But again, man, the reason why I chose to get on here and speak about that and re-recommend that particular video is because, man, I encounter so many individuals, man. Just, in regular life, whether it be, in your personal life or at your job or, any part of life that you could think about, man. I encounter so many individuals, man, and I'm able to observe so many situations where, sometimes it may be, again, insecurities, no confidence in self. A person may not be at a place within themselves that they are willing to stand up for and defend themselves regardless of whatever outcome, or potential redirect, and to anybody that falls in any of those categories, I want to offer you this. Anytime you accepting any type of dealings or actions or behaviors from somebody that are less than, appropriate, or the type of treatment that you receive is less than, what you deserve and or extend, then what you're essentially doing, people, is letting the individual or individuals, the perpetrator or the perpetrators, that it's okay. You can keep fucking me around because I don't respect myself enough or love myself enough to nip your bullshit in the bud. So, you know, I felt as though again that this was necessary, because too many of us are preoccupied with our external existence at the expense of our internal existence. And the only thing that can come out of you is what's within you. So, as within, so without, and as above, so below. Things have to take place in the upper realms before they materialize here in this third dimension. You know? Again, I don't care what you're dealing with. Science is involved. You know? I'm not talking dogma, theology. I'm not talking none of that stuff. I'm talking reality. Science is a part of reality. It's how you ascertain the truth of a thing or the lack thereof. So, you know, it's time for us to get real with ourselves, man. You know, and some people go throughout their entire lifetime without getting real with oneself. You know, and trust me, man. You know, I've experienced some things. You know, and I've had, you know, lessons on what I don't want. I've had so many lessons on the things I don't want. You know. So as a result, I'm willing to do the things that I know are necessary on an internal basis to bring about the desired results for my individual life. And this video is an encouragement for any and everybody that's watching to do the same. You owe it to yourself. More than anything or anybody outside of you, meaning outside of your skin, in this vessel that the soul is encased in, trapped in. You decide which works better for you. You owe it to yourself to make yourself happy. You know, because that's where it starts. You know, you can have all the money in the world and all the friends or associates or, you know, affiliates or whatever the case in the world. But if you not all right with you internally, if you have yet to deal with your deep-rooted shit, your baggage, you know, then nothing's ever going to be enough. Somebody can be golden to you. I mean, give you the world, you know, be there for you emotionally, psychologically, mentally, you know, physically. You know, they can spend on you, make sure all your needs is met. They can do whatever. But if you're not all right with you, it's practically impossible for you to be all right with anybody else. It starts with you. You know, so with that being stated, man, you know, just a little hair fire video, man. You know, hopefully I touched on, you know, the points that will enable you guys to get a firm grasp on where I'm coming from with this. Also, it's my hope that you guys take the recommendation and watch the video, man. You know, it may very well change your life. If nothing else, it will change your perception and let you know where you're at. You know, because a lot of us think that we don't need to improve. A lot of us think that there's no need for us to learn anything new. So with that being stated, man, as is always, it's my pleasure to come on here and kick it with y'all. You know, hopefully everybody's all right, everybody's family's all right, you know. And hopefully, you know, last but not least, somebody's able to extract some type of benefit from today's message. With that being stated, you know, I wish everybody peace, love, light, and health. And remember, man, love yourself. Love yourself first, you know, because until you've accepted yourself, until you've accepted your flaws, your shortcomings, how can you realistically think or expect to accept someone else's? And with that, I'm